Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/entitled people. In today's episode, girl tries to trick me into changing seats on airplane. This is my bench. It's called Well Trained. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Girl tries to trick me into changing seats on airplane. I was on an airline with my family who were sitted in the 1 or 2 rows in front of and behind me. The random girl next to me at the window seat was talking to her friend who was sitting directly behind me. The friend then asks me if I can switch seats with her so she can sit next to her friend. It's still within the vicinity of my family, so I agree to it and we swap positions. She's laughing with her friend and turns and say, "Okay, my seat is way back there." Since she had standing in the row behind me talking to her friend, it had appeared like her seat was 1 row behind, but her actual seat was like 20 rows behind at the back of the plane. I told her, "I thought you wanted me to switch 1 row back. I'm not moving to the back of the plane. You didn't mention that before, and I can see you did it on purpose cause you're laughing about it." She told me I agreed to switch and it's too late now, as if we're in high school. I told the flight attendant that the girl is in my seat, and she told the flight attendant that I agreed to switch. Without getting into who said what, I told the flight attendant, I didn't agree and I've never spoken to this person in my life. They were angry and yelling, but it was either go to her seat or get off the plane. The only issue I was concerned about was having to awkwardly sit next to her friend for a few hours. The situation resolved itself when they got someone from the back to switch with them. You met her challenge and bested her. Well played. Wow, primary school called, it wants its attitude back. No takebacks. No dobbying. You said yes, now you have to do it. You already agreed, tongue sticking out, Jesus, some people don't deserve common courtesy. A contract made under false pretenses is not lawfully valid. Girl's argument was off from the start, lol. Agreed. Reading and seeing so many accounts of people being asked to change seats and that mostly not ending well, I'd say never say yes if you will directly be sitting next to someone you know. These cases rarely have a happy ending. And what happened to you is frustrating AF. There is plenty of time to book your desired seats these days, and I'd say if you have a medical issue or anything, you can pay and choose your seat, or sometimes the airlines will do it for you. The issue is immature adults who have never been told no in their lives and think the world revolves around them. If, as an adult, you can't function within a space that has some rules or guidelines, you should not be there. I hate it when things like this happen. I'm glad you caught her in her lie. She knew what she was doing. Good playing dumb like she played dumb. Bottom line, never switch seats unless your seat is on fire. Even then. If the plane explodes and you were supposed to be in the back, but moved to the front, you'll be killed first. It gets even more complicated when you wake up and realize that was all a dream, causing a scene and preventing you and your friends from boarding. Then, when death comes after you, you're gonna think you were supposed to be the first one to die, but you'll actually be the last. Just makes everything so messy to switch seats. Never change horses in mid-race. If another line opens up at the grocery, invite the person in front of you to go ahead and take it, stay with your horse. Never switch seats. Should anything happen, they will assume you are in the seat assigned to you. But, she didn't like me tricking her. How did you convey the whiny tone of voice? I can hear it clear as a bell. That's impressive. This is my bench. Yesterday I took the bus to go grocery shopping since I do a weekly shop and it's too heavy to carry all the way home. I get done with that quickly and then walk outside towards the bus stop. Already there is a middle-aged woman sitting on the bench. Next to her is her backpack, a huge grocery bag, as well as one of those huge packs of toilet paper. As I approach, I expect her to move her things to the ground. It's not wet, it's not dirtier than anywhere else, and it's not like she'll be exposing her food to anything either way because it's all in bags. She does not. When I get there, I stand awkwardly for a moment next to the bench, swaying slightly on my feet because it's so hot out I'm feeling a bit dizzy. I ask her in a friendly and polite manner if she wouldn't mind moving her things so I could take a seat. She looks at me, frowns, but says and does nothing. I ask again, still friendly but more pointedly. Nothing. Finally, I get way more direct and don't ask anymore, just tell her to move her things because I want to sit down. Instead of moving her groceries, she stands up, takes a few steps away from the bench, and says loudly, "Some people are so rude. I guess you want me to stand here even though I have a bad back. I can't even sit down. Fine, I guess I'll suffer." I'm assuming she thought I'd back down and tell her to please have a seat again, but at this point I'm done. So I shrug and walk over to where she was sitting and plop myself down. I cross my legs and put my headphones in my ears and turn my podcast back on. The look on her face is one of complete disbelief, but then quickly turns to rage. For the 10 minutes we're waiting for the bus, she makes no effort to move her things to sit down, but instead stands grumbling angrily about horrible youth and inconsiderate jerks and whatever else. I just ignored her, and when the bus came I got on it without giving her a second glance. "Sorry, but that's not your bench, lady." It was also big enough for us both without being in each other's space. Some people. If she wants to stand there instead of moving her stuff to sit down, let her. Good for you for sitting down when she stood up. If her back hurt so much, she should have moved her stuff and sat down. All get stuff could have been stacked on top of her toilet paper. Right. Then there's this notion that only the elderly are entitled to feel pain. Like, sorry, grandma, but you can't gatekeep sore feet and heat exhaustion just because you're ancient. I once asked a young lady on a crowded train to move her bag so I could sit. She ignored me. I was having a bad day and already in a foul mood, so I asked her again and she ignored me again. "No lady, not today." So I sat down onto her bag in slow motion. She just managed to slide it away from being flattened by my large ass. I didn't even glance in her direction for the remainder of the trip, so didn't see her reaction, but man, it felt like I had just eaten the sweetest lollipop ever. She was probably pissed. Yeah, I did that once. I didn't sit on the bag, but I sat on the edge of the seat where if I leaned back I'd crush the bag. They moved it before they found out if I would or not. If she's too stupid to put things on the ground so she can sit, not your issue. I'm a disabled 60/F and I would have started to chuck her belongings all over the place. Bad back indeed. Let's see how well you bend over to retrieve everything you gave a seat to. I, a former people pleaser, no longer put up with nonsense. Good for you for not putting up with it either. Yeah, it's not like I was telling her to move so I could take her seat. There was enough room for both of us if she just moved her shopping. But apparently standing and feeling sorry for herself was better. Oh well, not my problem. I just really want to thank you for giving her what she deserved, huh? She just stand there? Wow. She's proudly stupid. How dare you sit on a seat clutching my pearls? Yeah, she took a few steps to the side and then just stood there for 10 minutes grumbling angrily. So, she was selfish and self-involved. You have no control over that. The best anyone can do is the best they can do. No apologies need ever be made. You politely did the best your circumstances allowed. I, for one, think you did it right. To quote Dolly Parton, "Get off the cross, somebody needs the wood." It's called well-trained. So I work a veterinary clinic and this happened a day ago. After telling my previous patient goodbye, I start to head to the exam room to clean, only to see a black speck come barreling out of the room and towards the door. I yell "loose dog" and start to go towards the dog, only for some old guy to intercede between me and the dog that is now 10 feet away. The old guy glares down at me as he asks, "What's the problem, name?" "Sir, your dog is loose," I say, pointing towards his dog that's patiently standing near the entrance. It's called being well trained. The man gives me a smarmy as I see a person with a dog walking towards the front door. I call out to the receptionist to get the door so the dog doesn't run out, and she does. The guy reluctantly calls the dog's name, which to its credit it starts to head back to his owner, before going behind the receptionist counter to introduce itself to the two receptionists. The old guy starts walking to the exit door, and when the well-trained dog is still behind the counter being cute and introducing itself, he calls the dog's name again. "Sir, do you want a leash?" I call as the dog finally makes its way to his side. "She doesn't need one. She's well trained," he says as he opens the door and walks out with the dog at his side. His wife barrels out of the room as she asks, "Where did he go? Did he leave?" "Yes." I give, fuming at the dick putting his dog in danger. "We aren't finished," she says as she runs after him, leaving their tech confused with two meds in her hands. I guess the husband needs a little more time in obedience school. Clearly not well trained. One of the few times I'd recommend a shock collar. My vet has a firm leash or carrier policy because of incidents with well-trained dogs like that. The choice is comply or leave. They may have lost a couple of clients, but his office has a reputation as a safe place for everyone. It just makes sense. The majority of animals at the vet are there because they are injured or aren't feeling well. Why take the chance of letting your well-trained dog roam around and get bit or infected? Is it okay if they bring their pet in a battleship instead of a carrier? How about a Thermo King? The husband needs some training. And a boop on the snoot with a rolled-up newspaper. Something I would never do to my dog, but that guy deserves it. I'd be wondering if dementia was beginning to set in. I work in vet med too. I had if my dog is well trained send me to the hospital. Most pet owners are complete morons, and almost no one has control of their dogs anymore. "She's a service dog," said Service Great Dane / Pit Cross, straining at the leash to murder the clinic cat. Referred from previous vet for sending someone to the hospital. Sure. Wishing my boss made better financial choices so she would say no to situations like this, instead of just saying I expect you to handle it. Even if your dog is well trained, you keep them on a leash near other pets. Because you can't assume the other animals are also well trained. Geez. My dog is also well trained, but she's also fearful of both people and dogs and reactive. She is leashed and wears a muzzle at the vet. The muzzle is in case she gets scared, and we make sure the coast is clear when we go in or out. This is protect other pets, because I can protect my dog, but that my dog is friendly. People who let them go where they want will find that my dog was being abused at the time when she should have been learning socialization skills and doesn't know how to make friends. My dog is reactive too, and going to the vet is so nerve-wracking. We've been working on it for the last year and he's improved a lot. He's reached the point that if everyone's on a leash he's okay-ish, but off-leash dogs are the bane of my existence. Oh, my dog is friendly. Great, mine's not. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.